This cycle of seeking isn't just about material things. It extends to our emotions and even our spiritual aspirations. We often believe that once we achieve a certain state of mind, perfect calm, constant joy, this is where the Buddha's radical insight emerges. He didn't teach us to chase happiness, but to understand the very nature of suffering and its cessation. His teaching points us not outward, but inward. Where does this peace truly reside? Not in the grand achievements, not in the fleeting pleasures, but in the simple act of presence. It's the peace of knowing that everything is as it is, without needing to be different. Non-attachment, often misunderstood, is not about indifference or detachment from life. It's about freedom from clinging. Imagine a leaf floating down a river. It doesn't cling to the bank, nor does it resist the current. It simply flows. To stop chasing happiness is to begin embracing the present moment, fully and completely. This isn't about ignoring the past or future, but about grounding ourselves in the now. It's the practice of noticing the warmth of your breath. Letting go is not giving up. It's releasing the need to control everything, to dictate how life should unfold. It's trusting in the natural process, much like a leaf surrenders to the wind, or a river flows to the sea. Even amidst the chaos of the modern world, inner peace is not an impossible dream. It's a sanctuary we can cultivate within ourselves, like an anchor in a storm. Imagine the eye of a hurricane calm and still. When we cease the chase, when we truly let go of the need for things to be other than they are, a profound and unshakable peace arises. This isn't a fleeting emotion. It's a foundational state of being, so instead of chasing the next fleeting happiness, consider turning inward. Begin by simply pausing, breathing, and noticing what is present in this very moment without judgment, without needing to change anything. This isn't a destination to be reached. We often chase happiness as if it were a fleeting butterfly, always just out of reach. But what if this pursuit itself is the source of our weariness, binding us to an endless cycle of longing and disappointment? The Buddha taught a radical secret true. Peace isn't found in external conditions or fleeting pleasures, but cultivated from within. It's a peace that doesn't depend on things going your way, but on your inner response to how things are. Our suffering arises not from the world itself, but from our attachments to it, our clinging to pleasant experiences, and our aversion to unpleasant ones. Everything is impermanent: joy, sorrow, success, failure. To find inner peace, we must cultivate non-attachment. This doesn't mean indifference, but rather a profound understanding that nothing lasts. It's about holding life lightly, appreciating its beauty without demanding it conform to our desires. When we release our grip, the practice of presence, of mindfulness, is our anchor. When we are fully present, we are not chasing future happiness or dwelling on past regrets. We are simply here, now, aware of our breath, our body. Letting go is not about apathy. It's about seeing clearly that attachment only creates suffering. When you release the need for things to be a certain way, you open yourself to the richness of life as it is. When we stop resisting life's natural flow, we find a profound wellspring of peace within. This peace isn't the absence of trouble, but the presence of a calm mind amidst it all. It's the wisdom to discern what we can. This radical secret is not about renouncing joy, but discovering a joy that is unconditioned, a joy that arises simply from being, from awareness, from the profound understanding of impermanence. It's the quiet contentment that remains when the chase. True inner peace is a steady presence, a quiet knowing, a deep acceptance of all moments, pleasant or unpleasant. It is the freedom from the constant striving, the understanding that you are already whole. This is the radical secret. The radical secret to inner peace is not to stop wanting, but to stop grasping. It's to embrace the present moment, just as it is, with an open heart. Begin today, right now, by simply observing your breath, your sensations. We often find ourselves relentlessly pursuing happiness, believing it's something to be captured, achieved, or bought. From the earliest moments of our lives, we're taught that joy lies in acquiring possessions, status, or even certain emotional states. This relentless chase is fueled by a misunderstanding, the belief that happiness is a destination we can finally reach. We imagine a future where all conditions are perfect, where every desire is met. But what if the secret to peace isn't found in reaching for something outside ourselves, but in realizing what is already within? The Buddha, in his profound wisdom, revealed a radical truth. True peace is not a reward for our. This radical secret is rooted in the principle of non-attachment. It's not about becoming cold or indifferent, nor is it about renouncing the world. Rather, it's about releasing our clinging to outcomes, our desperate need for things to be a. Alongside non-attachment, the Buddha's secret also emphasizes the profound power of presence. This means bringing our full, undivided attention to the present moment, whatever it may hold. Most of our suffering arises when our minds are not here, so the Buddha's radical secret to inner peace isn't a complex philosophy or a difficult path. It's elegantly simple. Peace isn't out there, waiting to be found. It's already here, within you, an ever-present wellspring of calm. So, how do we begin to practice this letting go? It starts with gentle observation. Notice your mind's tendency to grasp, to crave, to judge. When you feel the pull of desire or aversion, simply acknowledge it without judgment. Another powerful aspect of letting go is embracing impermanence. Everything in this universe is in a constant state of flux. Nothing lasts forever, not joy, not sorrow, not even our own physical forms. When we resist this fundamental truth, when we stop chasing happiness and begin to practice non-attachment and presence, a profound inner peace naturally arises. This isn't a fleeting emotion, but a stable, unshakable quality of being. It's the peace of a still pond reflecting the sky. This profound inner peace is not a distant ideal, but a living reality available to you right now. It is the quiet strength that allows you to face life's challenges with equanimity and to savor its joys without attachment. We often find ourselves in a relentless pursuit, constantly chasing after something we believe will finally bring us happiness. A new possession, a different relationship, a grander achievement, or perhaps just a fleeting moment of pleasure. This deep observation reveals a profound truth. The suffering we experience often stems not from external events themselves, but from our attachment to them. We cling to pleasant experiences, hoping they will last forever, and we resist unpleasant ones. The secret, then, is not to chase happiness, but to stop chasing. It is to cultivate non-attachment. This doesn't mean giving up everything you love or becoming a hermit. It means letting go of the clinging to things, people. This practice of non-attachment, this letting go, is not a passive resignation, but an active cultivation of inner freedom. It's like opening your hand after grasping tightly. The relief is immediate and profound. This profound letting go naturally leads us to the power of presence. When we stop chasing future happiness or dwelling on past regrets, we arrive fully in this very moment. The present moment is the only place where life truly. To be present is to fully inhabit your experience, whatever it may be, without resistance or craving. It is to taste your food fully, to hear the sounds around you completely, to feel the texture of the ground beneath your. This journey into presence also involves observing your inner landscape, the ceaseless flow of thoughts, the subtle shifts in emotions. Instead of getting swept away by them, or trying to suppress them, you learn to simply witness them. This connection to the present moment, free from attachment, is the very essence of the Buddha's radical secret. It's not about achieving a constant state of bliss, which is just another form of chasing happiness. Instead, this inner peace, born from non-attachment and presence, is not a fleeting emotion, but a fundamental state of being. It's not the absence of problems, but the presence of a steady heart amidst them. It's not a temporary escape, so stop chasing happiness. Instead, turn your attention inward. Cultivate non-attachment by understanding the impermanent nature of all things, and embrace the profound power of presence by fully inhabiting this very moment. Let go of the need for conditions too. We often find ourselves trapped in an endless pursuit, believing that happiness is a destination we must reach, a prize to be won. We chase after material possessions, fleeting pleasures, social validation, or even certain states of mind. The Buddha's insight was radical. True peace isn't found by changing our external circumstances, but by changing our relationship to them. It's not about stopping desire itself, but about understanding its nature, seeing how it binds us. This brings us to the profound practice of non-attachment. Non-attachment is not about becoming cold or indifferent. It's about freedom. It means holding things lightly, recognizing their impermanent nature, and understanding that our happiness doesn't depend on them staying or. How do we practice this radical letting go in our daily lives? It begins with releasing our attachment to outcomes. We plant a seed, but we cannot force it to grow. We put in effort, we act with intention. The greatest teacher of non-attachment is impermanence itself. Everything changes, seasons shift, bodies age, relationships evolve, thoughts come and go. When we resist this fundamental truth, we create immense suffering. But when we embrace impermanence, when we stop chasing external happiness and embrace non-attachment, a profound shift occurs. We begin to discover that peace is not something we acquire, but something we uncover from within. It is our natural state. This inner peace is cultivated through the practice of presence, or mindfulness. It means bringing your full, gentle attention to the present moment, without judgment. When you wash the dishes, just wash the dishes. When you walk, just walk. So, the Buddha's radical secret to inner peace isn't a complex ritual or a difficult achievement. It's the profound realization that you are already peace. You are already whole. You are already complete. This doesn't mean we withdraw from the world. On the contrary, when we find this inner peace, we can engage with life more fully, with greater compassion and wisdom. We still set goals, so I invite you now to simply pause. Stop the chasing. Stop the striving. Take a deep, gentle breath and feel your presence in this very moment. Recognize that the peace you seek is not in some distant future. We've journeyed through the vast, often turbulent, landscapes of our desires, seeking that elusive spark of joy in every new possession, every fleeting achievement, every intense experience. From the earliest moments of our lives, this, my friends, is the radical shift in perspective that the Buddha offered millennia ago, a teaching as relevant today as it was then. It's not about denying joy or pleasure itself, for these are natural parts of human experience. The path to this inner sanctuary, this profound stillness, begins with a deep and transformative understanding of non-attachment. It's a concept often misunderstood, sometimes mistakenly equated with indifference or apathy, or even a cold detachment from life. This profound wisdom of non-attachment naturally, almost effortlessly, leads us to the transformative power of presence. When we cease the exhausting effort of clinging to the past with its regrets, its memories, so, with this understanding, how do we practically cultivate this profound and anchoring presence in our daily lives, amidst all its demands and distractions? It begins, most simply and profoundly, with cultivating an attentive awareness of the breath. Beyond the anchor of the breath, we extend this transformative practice of non-attachment and presence to the vast and often turbulent landscape of our thoughts and emotions. Imagine your mind not as a solid, unchangeable entity, but as a boundless, this profound practice of letting go of thoughts, emotions, and fixed identities is not about suppression or denial. It is, at its very core, about liberation. When we cease identifying so strongly with every fleeting thought, embracing this path of letting go also requires a profound and quiet courage, the courage to face reality precisely as it is, not as we desperately wish it to be, or as we believe it should be. As you consistently engage in this transformative practice of non-attachment and presence, patiently and gently, a deep, abiding inner peace begins, almost imperceptibly, to blossom within you. This peace is distinct because it is not dependent on external circumstances. This profound journey, however, is not about achieving a permanent, static state of blissful detachment, but rather about continuously, gently, returning to this inner sanctuary of peace, again and again. It's a lifelong practice of cultivating gentle awareness. We've spent so much energy pursuing happiness in things outside ourselves, in possessions, achievements, and even in others' approval. Yet, how often do these external gains truly bring lasting contentment? What if the very act of chasing keeps us from? The Buddha offered a radical insight: suffering often arises not from what we lack, but from our attachment to what we desire and our aversion to what we experience. This constant grasping and pushing away creates an endless cycle of non-attachment, then, isn't about apathy or indifference. It's about wisdom. It's understanding that everything in this world, including our experiences, emotions, and even our very thoughts, is impermanent. Holding on tightly to fleeting experiences, people consider the simple metaphor of holding sand in your fist. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips away through your fingers, no matter how hard you try to hold on. But if you open your hand gently, this wisdom applies even to our aspirations and goals. We can work diligently, pour our heart into our efforts, but then release the rigid attachment to a specific outcome. We offer our best, cultivate wholesome intentions, and as we learn to practice this letting go, a profound shift occurs. We discover the power of presence. The present moment, unburdened by the weight of past regrets or the anxiety of future projections, transforms into a spacious, vibrant. Each small, conscious act becomes a meditation, a mindful breath, a deliberate step, a warm sip of tea. This isn't an escape from the world or a retreat from its challenges. It's a deeper engagement with it. When the mind is no longer frantically chasing after desires or resisting uncomfortable realities, a natural, unconditioned peace begins to arise from within. It's not something we need to find or acquire from the outside. It's something we uncover, this deep inner peace, born of non-attachment and presence, is not dependent on external conditions or fleeting circumstances. It is your inherent nature, your true home, waiting to be rediscovered, a quiet harbor within you. So,
I invite you stop chasing, take a moment.
Sit, breathe, and simply be. The Buddha's radical secret to inner peace isn't a secret at all. It's the profound stillness that has always been here, within you. In our modern world, we are often told that happiness is something to be pursued, a destination to be reached. We chase after material possessions, fleeting pleasures, career successes, or perfect relationships, believing that with each new attainment, this pursuit isn't just exhausting. It's often based on a fundamental misunderstanding of what happiness truly is. We conflate happiness with pleasure, with excitement, with the absence of discomfort. But these are transient states, constantly shifting like the weather. The Buddha's radical secret, then, is not about finding happiness, but about discovering an unshakable peace that transcends both joy and sorrow. It's an inner peace that doesn't depend on external conditions, a peace that arises not from getting what. This leads us to the heart of the Buddha's teaching, non-attachment. It's a concept often misunderstood as indifference or a lack of caring. But non-attachment is precisely the opposite. It is a deep form of caring that frees us from. Hand in hand with non-attachment is the practice of presence. To be truly present means to fully inhabit this very moment, without judgment, without clinging to the past or anticipating the future. It is the simple act of being aware. So, how do we begin to cultivate this radical secret of inner peace in our daily lives? It starts with simple, consistent practice. Begin with your breath. Take a few moments each day to simply sit and observe your breath. Embracing impermanence is another powerful aspect of this practice. When we truly understand that everything is constantly changing, our bodies, our emotions, our relationships, the world around us, we naturally loosen our grip. The freedom that arises from truly letting go is profound. It's not a freedom from problems, but a freedom within them. When we release our grip on how things should be, we open ourselves to the richness of how they. To abide in true peace, then, is not to escape life, but to meet it fully, with an open heart and a stable mind. It is a state of being where you are no longer tossed about by the waves. So, the radical secret is not to chase happiness, but to cease chasing anything at all, and to simply rest in the present moment, with an open heart. This is where true inner peace resides. We often chase happiness as if it were a distant prize, something to be caught, held, and never let go. But what if that very chase keeps us from peace? We're taught to pursue success, possessions, and fleeting pleasures, believing these will grant us lasting joy. Yet, this pursuit often leads to exhaustion, not fulfillment. The Buddha's radical secret isn't about finding happiness, but understanding where true peace resides. It's not out there, but deep within, unchanging. This peace arises from non-attachment, not indifference, but a gentle release of our grip on outcomes, expectations, and even our very desires. And it resides in presence, fully inhabiting this moment, without judgment or resistance. This now is the only place peace can truly bloom. To practice, simply observe your thoughts and feelings as they arise, like clouds drifting across the sky. Don't grasp them, don't push them away. Simply let them be. This gentle release, this spacious awareness, creates room for a deeper, more abiding peace to emerge from within you. Cultivate this presence in everyday moments. A breath, a sip of tea, the warmth of the sun. Each now is an invitation to inner peace. When we stop chasing, we don't lose happiness. We uncover the quiet, unshakable peace that was always here, beneath the surface of our striving. This is the Buddha's radical secret, not chasing happiness, but abiding in the quiet, spacious awareness that is your true nature. Embrace this peace now. We often find ourselves in a relentless pursuit, constantly chasing after something we believe will bring us lasting happiness. We strive for success, wealth, recognition, or even just the next pleasurable experience. Yet, even when we achieve these things, the Buddha, in his profound wisdom, recognized this fundamental pattern. He taught us that the suffering we experience isn't necessarily about the absence of good things, but rather our attachment to them, and to the idea that they are permanent. The radical secret, then, isn't to stop experiencing life, but to turn our attention inward. Instead of seeking happiness outside ourselves, we cultivate it from within. This begins with simply observing the mind, without judgment. Notice the thoughts that arise. When we stop identifying with every thought and emotion that arises, we create a space, a gap, between our true self and these fleeting mental formations. This gap is where freedom resides. Think of it like watching clouds drift across. This practice brings us fully into the present moment. Most of our suffering comes from either dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. But the present moment is the only place where life truly happens. Now, let's explore what it truly means to let go, to practice non-attachment. It's not about becoming indifferent or uncaring. In fact, it's quite the opposite. When you are non-attached, you can engage with life more fully. So, how do we practice letting go in our daily lives? It's not about giving up everything, but about changing our relationship to things. When you eat, simply eat, fully savoring each bite, without wishing for more or for something. The peace that arises from non-attachment is not a fleeting emotion that comes and goes with external circumstances. It is an unshakable inner stillness, a profound sense of well-being that is independent of what is happening around you. This inner peace is not something you have to find or create. It is already present within you, obscured by the clouds of craving and aversion. It is your true nature, your Buddha nature, waiting to be unveiled. So, let us stop chasing. Let us pause, breathe, and simply be present. Let us release the endless striving and embrace the quiet abundance of this very moment. The true revolution is not in conquering the world. We often find ourselves in a relentless pursuit, believing happiness is a destination we must reach, a prize to be won. We chase after achievements, possessions, or even certain feelings, hoping they will finally bring us lasting joy. This constant seeking creates a subtle tension within us, a feeling that something is always missing, always just out of reach. We become like thirsty travelers, endlessly searching for water in a desert, only to find mirages. The Buddha, with profound wisdom, taught us a radical secret: true peace doesn't come from finding something outside ourselves, but from understanding the nature of all things, their impermanence. Everything we grasp onto eventually changes or fades away. Our suffering often arises not from things themselves, but from our attachment to them. We cling to what we like, resist what we dislike, and in doing so, we create our own prisons of expectation and disappointment. The key, then, this doesn't mean we stop enjoying life's blessings or pursuing wholesome goals. It means we hold them lightly, knowing they are transient. We appreciate the sunrise without demanding it last forever, and we cherish a moment of connection without fearing. This is the essence of non-attachment, not indifference, but a profound understanding that peace doesn't depend on external conditions. It arises when we loosen our grip on outcomes, when we allow life to unfold without our constant interference or judgment. To truly stop chasing happiness means to stop resisting what is. It means accepting the present moment in all its fullness, whether it's pleasant or challenging. This acceptance is not resignation, but a powerful act of liberation. Inner peace, then, is not the absence of problems, but the presence of stillness amidst them. It's the quiet spaciousness that emerges when we stop struggling, when we simply rest in the awareness of this moment. This cultivation begins with presence, with simply being here, now. Not lost in yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's worries, but fully awake to the breath, to the sounds, to the sensations of this very moment. In this presence, stop chasing happiness. Instead, turn inward, cultivate presence, embrace non-attachment, and allow the radical secret of inner peace to unfold naturally within you. It is not a distant goal, but a living reality, always here, waiting to be rediscovered. We often believe happiness is a treasure to be hunted, a reward for our relentless efforts. But what if this constant pursuit, this endless striving, is precisely what keeps true peace at bay? The Buddha taught a radical truth. Peace isn't found outside, but discovered within, by letting go of our grasping. It's not about acquiring, but about releasing the need for things to be other than they are. True peace isn't an achievement, it's the natural state when we stop resisting what is. Let your breath be your anchor, bringing you fully into this present moment. Here, in the stillness, happiness ceases to be a chase